Hello Sprouts, welcome back to Clever Reads. Today I have something slightly different for myself. It is a portion of the VOD that we did a couple of weeks ago on Monday, where on our Twitch channel we do reading streams. twitch.tv/Crimson Clover Blossom. Let me know what you think, and I hope you enjoy. Nuclear Revenge. Got fired, reported them to OSHA, and destroyed a family business and made them leave town. By Darling Darcy. So a while back, I'd been hired to be the marketing person for the family business. It was a fitness equipment liquidator that had been founded by a gold medalist Olympian. He had fallen into some mental health issues and had delegated his wife to take over the business. She didn't have the experience, but took the reins anyway, and she and her children ran the place, albeit with some success. So this is where I come in. The first red flag I should have seen is that she was trying to screw over the recruiter by wanting us to do a side deal to pay me technically less. But still more than I would have gotten without the recruiter as the middle person. But I was in bed and I didn't think too much about it. The next thing was how okay, I am going to... I need the... Where do I get the thing where I can increase the size of the page? Zoom? Thank you. A little hard to read. And I just like little Clee up there in the corner going, mahaha. Zoomies. Yeah, sometimes my eyes can read font that small, but today my eyes are like, I'm sleepy, no. And the next thing was how embedded the family aspect was in this business. That there was basically no distinction between the employees and family affairs being wrapped up in their environment too. But I was just happy to finally be in a space where I felt welcome and almost love-bombed by the CEO, who treated me like one of her own children. Always lots of hugs and even kisses during good morning meetings as if we were coming downstairs for breakfast. I would absolutely hate that. Oh my god. Stranger, do not hug me. Definitely do not kiss. Meetings ended up turning into brainstorm sessions because the CEO's children and the workers were so scatterbrained and didn't want to commit to any specific plan of action. And I was basically on my own when it came to any marketing of anything because nobody would actually participate if it came down to it. About a month or so into it, I got ambushed by the CEO and her daughter, who was like the operations person technically, or something. Both were wondering why we hadn't achieved as much as I had wanted to, and when I explained that I didn't really receive much help or participation from anyone, suddenly it became all about blaming me for everything wrong, and why sales were down, and why nothing was exponentially growing as she had hoped they would. I explained what actions I had taken, and that I was doing exactly what I said I was going to do. It wasn't my fault nobody wanted to help when they said they would. It didn't matter. They wanted me gone because they expected the moon in 3 weeks' time with zero budget and zero help from anyone else. So I just left. I want to add I did a lot while there. I automated a lot of their processes that they were doing by hand, set up Salesforce and Slack, as well as setting up and handling Zendesk and a ticketing system, and even automating a lot of the POS processes. So that the card to tap to accounting, it was all smooth and seamless, and I made tons of things very efficient for them and improved productivity while there. Pretty sure POS in this instance is point of sale. But none of that mattered, of course. They wanted double the sales from basically social media posting and nothing else. While I was there, I had documented tons of OSHA violations, exposed wires where customers would walk, ADA violations, customer safety violations, forklifts operated with zero certification and no PPE, and having employees standing on top of forks just to reach the warehouse ceiling, with no safety anything, structural violations. You name it, they did it in landlord special type fixes, and left things in often worse state than before. I made the call, sent OSHA photos of what I had documented, which I had only documented in the event of needing to use it. Never actually expected it to come to that, but I did. After talking to them, it was explained to me that there was a months-long process to get action to be taken, even with evidence. The penalties for the violations I had evidence of were financially crippling fines I knew they wouldn't be able to handle, and after a month of checking every now and then, I got confirmation action was taken. Then a couple of months later, I drove past the warehouse showroom and saw that it was abandoned, broken letters, overgrown grass in the parking lot, boarded up windows and doors, for lease, all gone and dilapidated. While I was placing those calls, I was also reaching out to my realtor friend who was super good at what she does, saying that we should time it right. So after the fines and penalties, that she can just drop literature off at the front door until they were convinced to sell. She didn't do it in time, but she did catch wind of the house had been sold and sold fast. Their website was 404'd, and they basically packed their bags and left. I still can't believe it worked, but sometimes in life, we have to accept that we are the karma that someone has coming to them. Goodbye, Amy, wherever you are and your family left you. We're even. Hello, Shakabee. Thank you for the subscription. 22 months, my goodness. PPE, personal protection equipment. Thank you, Messi. Well, shout out Shakabee. How you doing? Did you have a good day? Have you remembered your meds and hydration? So wait, I thought they were a gym. A fitness equipment liquidator. Oh, okay. I misread that. I read that and my mind went, it's a gym. Hope they lifted with their legs and not their backs. It was clear none of them sampled their own merchandise. Might have helped them stay in shape for their big move out of there. Hey Clover, it was a nice day. I remembered all the meds and have chicken soup. Oh, chicken soup. Chicken soup sounds nice. So we are starting off reading Reddit stories. So if you want to suggest a subreddit, feel free. There is one for like really pretty food. If I want to make people hungry, we'll go look it up. Wow, well, for you to have the foresight to document all of that, you must have known how it was going to turn out. Always good to have cards in the deck. I felt like a heel for taking photographs of a warehouse manager operating a forklift uncertified while making the teenage employees stand on it with zero precautions just to avoid having to access the roof. But honestly, that place was like a nightmare of half fixes and penny pinching in the wrong place. I wonder if any of them had like gone and to the husband and go, yeah, your wife is basically ruining your business and having all the OSHA violations. Maybe you should hire somebody else. She was like, excuse me. She was like a female Andrew Tate selling these girl boss alpha courses online on her website for her other business, as if the warehouse wasn't the thing keeping everyone's lights on. Literally thought herself this amazing business person, when really she was just appointed by a husband who I don't doubt suffered from her. If that's how I was treated, I can only imagine a husband who stopped being the breadwinner would get treated behind closed doors. Oh. Didn't consider that, yeah. Super impressed by what you have achieved with that business system. For the first time, I'm part of a team and I don't have to be a whole team. They rejoiced when I mentioned I had Salesforce and automation experience. I wished I had told them in the interview, because they need help there too. I want to make myself as useful as possible in any aspect I can help in, so that they'll have me on for as long as I can. I like this bunch, they're nice, and excited to mold me into one of them. Okay, don't do that. If you think it will sell you a little better so you get a job, get your job as best you can. But do not tell them extraneous skills because then they will try to dump that on you even when it's not in your job description, and then they won't pay you extra for it most of the time. Never believe a business who says you're family because they frequently won't treat you like that. So many stories about people putting in their all, and then they're like, well, we don't have to pay you extra. You chose to do this extra stuff. You chose not to do what was in your job profile. And a lot of times it's like, but the boss told me to do it. I'm not sure I would consider that nuclear revenge, maybe because they got their business shut down. So instead of the best post, let's try new posts. Oh, looks like they're not quite as active as they used to be. We're like a big happy family is the scariest line an employee can say. Never believe them. Also remember, families can be dysfunctional and hate each other. Family can be every bit as backstabbing as a corporate office. You want to hit a disabled person? Have fun with 30 years in jail. Exactly. Also, always have a will. Clover needs to get a will, just in case. Catacloakin. You want to hit a disabled person? Have fun with 30 plus years in jail. Obligatory found this subreddit because of the click. Real quick. I like that because that's how I found the subreddit initially too. This happened in January, but the district attorney called me about 2 days ago with an update. I'm a wheelchair user because of a fainting disorder. Severe POTS for those wondering. I don't know what that is. Okay, let's go Googling. Postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Condition that causes a number of symptoms that transition from laying down to standing up, such as fast heart rate, dizziness, fatigue. While there's no cure, several treatments and lifestyle changes can help. I came home from work to see a car parked right under a no parking fire lane on the sidewalk. It blocked the way into my apartment, and I had to leave the wheelchair in my car. I started taking photos of the car because this had been an issue with the owner for months. My landlord told me to get photos of it and email it to him every time she did it, after I mentioned it in passing. While taking a photo, the owner came out of her apartment to scream at me. I stayed calm and tried to walk into my apartment. She got in my face and to continue screaming, and by reflex I shoved her back. She then grabbed me by the throat and began to punch me. After a minute, my neighbors and roommates who were having a smoke came running and got her off of me. Police were called, paramedics showed up because my neck was bleeding, she had acrylic nails. Ew, who knows what was under those nails. And I ended up going to the ER because I had a syncope episode while the paramedics were there. I decided to press charges thinking I'd just get an aggravated assault or something. I made sure that they got her while she was home because I knew she had a gun on the wall, despite being a convicted felon. How do you know she had a gun on the wall? Have you been in her house? Did she do the stupid thing and have it where you could see it through the curtains? When the police went to arrest her, they found that the car was stolen, without insurance, she didn't have a license, there was used needles all over the apartment and her 8-year-old child, and the gun was also marked stolen. Damn. Child is in foster care and she is in jail without bond. The DA said that her child recorded it, she apparently told her to, and it was already ruled as assault because of the overwhelming proof, plus the 7 counts of assault she's gotten in the past 5 years already. Had I gotten her nailed with it outside her home, she would have only gotten probation since she was a parent, but now she's lost her kid, her home, the car, and is going to jail for about 30 years or more, depending on the state charges are for the drugs. Have you ever watched The Casual Criminalist by Simon Whistler? don't record your crimes. It's one of the... Though, I mean, she might have seen through the window or the door. She could have, if she left the door open and you could see in, but also... Sometimes people don't always think about what they're putting up, like, by the window. Curtains. Curtains are good. Hopefully the kid gets a good foster family. But, yeah. Do not beat people up in front of your children. Bad example. Don't do drugs in front of your child. Very bad example. I think justice would be a better word than revenge to describe this, given all the other things that apparently preceded this. Yes, I agree. I second the notion, but the story warms my cold, blackened heart. I hope her child gets through it okay. She's a piece of shit parent for committing crimes like that and therefore leaving her child without a parent. Maybe someone else saw it and it was a rumor in the neighborhood. Also could be. Could also be like, when my neighbors moved in, I started getting their mail, so I had to go over and deliver it to them. Which, pretty sure not technically a crime. Because, like, it is a crime to mess with people's mail, but I don't know where that line falls if their mail ends up in your mailbox instead. So I had to take it over, right? So they just opened the door and they're like, oh, come right in. I'm like, no, here's your mail. So my assumption initially was that the person who let me in was a friend of the people moving and were like, didn't know all the friends. And they're like, oh, random person here with stuff. They must be helping us move. Come on in. But also still, no. You did society a favor by taking the hint. You walk away with some scratches and bruises and maybe a bit rattled, but you took a dangerous person off the streets, which may have even saved the child's life. Certainly someone else was saved due to you doing this. Seemed like the one case where karma was even bigger bitch than your neighbor. Yeah, if there's used needles all over the place, that kid could have gotten into the drugs. My peasant has spots, and this bitch could have considered lucky to get away with prison sentence. Cross-posted to justice served. New subreddit for me. Yoink. Thank you, didn't know this was a subreddit. Don't do so many crimes all at once. If all it takes is one crime to unravel everything else. The objective for committing a crime is to get away for it. My goodness. If I have a stolen car, I'll make sure to have a garage to store it inside. Not even driveway parking. If I'm not supposed to have guns, it's definitely going in the basement locker. Either you have a kid or you have your drugs. Never both at the same time. This woman was an idiot who deserved to get caught and receive the punishment that she got. Don't hold back. Keep your boot up her throat, so to speak. You're doing that kid in the world a favor. This is not revenge, this is calling the cops. I like that one. Did I read that one? I don't think I did. Did I? See, the way it keeps blocking the NSFW, I assume that's because I'm not logged in. It does make it, my little squirty brain, a little like, did I do that? Did I read that? One half of ham. What happened to the other half of the ham? Being the worst boss ever does not pay off. Originally shared in petty revenge, but I was told I should post it here too. Must be good if the people in petty revenge told you that it's more than they can handle. In the year 2003, the company I was working for closed down, so I sought out new employment. I was a machinist by trade with a great reputation, so it took me less than a day to get a job. It's okay, it happened, revenge! We will call the new place Spiral, because of the specialized tools they made. Anyway, I started out as one of the operators. The place was owner-operated, meaning the owner was there daily. He had a floor supervisor that was actually pretty nice. After I had been there for around a year, the owner and super had a falling out, and the super left. For whatever reason, the owner, we shall call him Dick, told me I was in charge. Dick Grayson's owning machinist company? Oh my. A little backstory on Dick: he was in his 60s and had started the company out of his garage. He ended up buying a huge chunk of land and turned it into an industrial park, all while in his 20s. By now, he was one of the richest guys in the state. He was also the biggest asshole I'd ever met. He treated everyone employee like garbage, except for me and one other guy. If we dared to talk to each other during working hours, he would scream at us. My promotion kind of financially trapped me. Dick would have no problem talking to me though, and he was the braggy sort of rich guy, while paying us the bare minimum. During our talks, I learned that he cooked his books. You see, the industrial park was owned by an entity that he created, while Spiral was owned by another. He would always make sure that the park entity charged Spiral enough in rent that it looked like the company was barely staying afloat. He also bragged that he had taken a bunch of industrial waste and buried it on his property at home because it cost so much less. Oh my... No, that's bad. He made my life hell over the next decade, always keeping my pay just high enough that I could not afford to leave, while treating me and my guys like crap. I ended up with a 95% turnover rate on employees. I'm not exaggerating. We ended up having to go to temp agencies, and towards the end, even they refused to send me people. I had to do some careful wording, but my duties ended up swelling to the point where I convinced Dick to let me say I was the plant manager. This right here was huge. I have no degree from college, but now I had a title and the experience. I started to look for jobs in earnest, and after 6 months I found one for a lot more money, with benefits. Yeah, Spiral had none. Now, over my time at Spiral, I had everyone that gave them notice be told to leave on the spot, and the company that hired me insisted I give them a 2-week notice. So I said I would, but I didn't. Depending on the state you're in, you don't have to. At the end of my last day, I sat at my desk and sent an email to the head of OSHA and the state EPA office. The 2 men that I had gotten to know well, I filled them in on all the violations that Dick had disclosed. I also sent an email to the state attorney about the books. I left my keys on my desk with a paper under them that simply read, "I quit." I never found out if the state's attorney went anywhere, but the contact at OSHA let me know that the company ended up with $150,000 in fines for some willful violations, and the guy from the EPA dug up half of Dick's property before he admitted to where he buried the waste. Last I knew, he ended up in jail. Can you not do like samples of the soil to find out where that is? Yeah, he definitely deserved jail. I read that as masochist by trade. So did I initially. Pollen season is bothering my nosies. Yep, Jill. Yay for Jill. Working there for so long, I might just be... I didn't. I wish I did. You're not wrong, per se. That feels like... Oh. Masochist working there for so long, I might just be... Automod held a message for using channel blocked terms. Allow the post to postage chat. No, I denied the bot message. Nice story, although the setup you described, one company charging another rent when the same person owns both, is not itself cooking the books. It becomes illegal if the records don't accurately reflect the money changing hands, or if taxes are not properly paid, amongst other things. Cooking the books was his words. He did not divulge everything. Some companies have a president, and some have a dictator. Spiral had the latter. A Spiral is a cool name for a business. How dare he use it? This sounds familiar, because he posted it in Petty Revenge first. Yep, that was posted a long ago. I read it last year too. Definitely not Petty Revenge. This is satisfying to read. Proof that patience can pay off, and the biggest middle finger was given. He really sounded like a scumbag, and you did right. This is not nuclear. This is just doing the right thing. Something with a nice title. You know what? Why not? Hell hath no fury like 2 women scorned. Say goodbye to all your stuff. By OG Sister Midnight. I don't know why I'm bothering to read out who's saying it, because I'm not actually going to post it to the YouTube channel. 15 years ago, I had a boyfriend that I'd been with for 6 years. He moved to another city for work while I finished my studies, and then I would move there too. He was apartment hunting, subleasing in the meantime. He came home almost every weekend and during Christmas and New Year's. He found an apartment in January and invited me up to show it, and I prepared to move up. Looking for a job, looking for new furniture, etc. Late February, I told him it's time to terminate the lease on the apartment in our hometown when he suddenly broke up with me. I was shocked and very sad. He collected some clothes and his very expensive PC, which he'd built from scratch. It was his baby. 2 weeks later, he updated his profile because on Facebook, to him, and another woman kissing. Obviously, they hadn't been dating 2 weeks. I caught him and called him out on it, and he admitted to having met her 2 months ago. He was at the airport to travel abroad with his buddy on the weekend, so we didn't talk long. That same evening, I decided to tell the new girlfriend. I managed to find her on Facebook and write her. She didn't believe me at first, of course, but I sent her pics. I described their apartment in detail. Well, her apartment, as it turned out. When I sent her a dick pic he sent me with their bedroom clearly in the background. She said, "Okay, enough, I believe you." She told me they'd been dating for 8 months, not 2. She'd been in Africa for 2 months in December and January, which would explain why he was able to be with her for 2 weeks over the holidays, and why he could invite me to see the apartment. So he had her paying for shit in the other person's apartment. We wrote a lot. He'd sent us the exact same Valentine's Day text. He bought us the exact same Christmas present, etc. You get the picture. After comparing notes, it was time for revenge. She cut up all of his clothes and left them in a pile on the floor. I told her about the PC and advised her to tear that fucker to pieces. She hacked it with the screwdrivers and hammers, and every piece was beyond saving. When he came home on Saturday, she tossed him out with nowhere to go, but not before showing him all of his possessions obliterated. I need to clarify that legally it was my PC. I'd won money on one of those scratch lottery tickets, but since we were living together, I kind of thought of it as ours. Huge mistake. The poor PC. The guy was extra silly. Insert other words here. Very silly words. As someone who built my PC and spent months researching part compatibility and saved up for it, I build a new system every 7 to 9 years. I can say this. I love my wife dearly. PC part picker's a godsend for this, by the way. Even if you do it rarely, it's fun to tool around with. Sounds like it should be a game. The dodo of consequences seldom arrives lubricated. I had to hold back on some twisted details because I've been impossible to read, but I'm glad this was enough. Let's see what's justice served. Oh, wait. Why are we getting NBC News? Does this just collect various posts from other things and post it? Well, that's even less wholesome than you would expect. I mean, yay for justice, but still. I actually really do like Traumatize Them Back. Who scores the oldest? Huh? I found this local stand that was bringing eggs fresh from the farm. Huge queue, but I decided to wait as this was a rare occurrence in our big city. After waiting patiently for my turn, the moment I opened my mouth to say how many I want, a tap on my shoulder. An older woman asks if she can cut and have the eggs as she has an emergency. I said she could do that once I paid for my purchase and if the person queuing after me would agree. She stares at me and says, "But I have an 85-year-old at home I need to go and look after." I step back and say, "Oh, the coincidence. I have a 95-year-old at home waiting for me to look after. Actually, my mother-in-law is 93 and I'm on the way to see her." The woman is shocked that she received the same argument in reverse and stood there, mouth open like a fish head on the shore. I'm not sure I would really find that traumatize them back. And this is all I have for you today. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This is probably a format I will continue with because, again, I like doing reading streams on Mondays. And I will probably also be putting up the VODs of this story we're currently reading, which is The Last Murder at the End of the World. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.